I want to start off by saying that I think your group's presentation was very good. I loved all the videos that we watched and all the discussions that we had. I thought that they were all great, and you guys did a great job leading the class. So for the first question, what video discussion activity did you find the most meaningful? The TED Talk we watched on fatophobia, and then the discussion we had off that TED Talk, I found that very meaningful. I really like how the woman was, very open with her body and very, like, look at me, I'm proud of who I am, you don't need to shame me. And like the ballet that they did and all that stuff, I just found that kind of awesome. And I like the discussion that we had off of that, where they see people who are overweight living their best lives and they say that they're glorifying obesity. And I think that people need to get over using that term because no one's glorifying being unhealthy. No one wants to be unhealthy. It's not a choice that anyone wants to make. But the fact that there's people out there who might be unhealthy living happy lives, that shouldn't be something that people can put down. No one wants to be overweight, so stop making them feel bad, especially if they're out exercising or doing things like that. That's why a lot of people that are overweight choose not to go exercise, because they get judged, but you're judging them for trying to lose weight. So it just becomes a whole big issue. And I thought that as a class, we really came to some really good conclusions about that video and just, people fat shaming people. We talked about Lizzo and her kind of impact on that and how it seems like they just can't win. If they try to exercise, they get judged. And then if they, don't exercise, they get judged. And so it just seems kind of like something that people need to just get over. So for the second question, we know that obesity causes physical health issues. Do you think it should also be considered a mental health issue? This is something that I'm kind of on the fence with because there's a lot of obese people who have completely normal mental health. They don't have any issues. And so I think that it doesn't need to be considered a mental health issue, but there needs to be a larger focus on the mental health processes that can take place. So it's not a mental health issue, but you should still be concerned with the mental health aspects of obesity. We kind of talked about the physiological processes of obesity and how it is hormones and how people, on mental health medications like depression medication, stuff like that, can gain weight and it can make you obese. So there is a mental health aspect of it, but I don't think that it's the whole large picture. I think it needs to be more focused on obesity with mental health consequences, not mental health issue of obesity, if that makes sense. And so for the third question, as a public health professional, how can you realistically address the obesity epidemic? I think that obviously as public health officials, we need to be very focused on promoting healthy lifestyles, promoting physical activity, healthy eating, all of that. But I also think that we need to work on teaching acceptance for people who might not look like the status quo. Everybody wants to be healthy. No one wants to be overweight and live a harder life. But when it comes down to it, it's not a choice for some people. Some people have thyroid issues. Some people can't lose the weight after pregnancy. There's a lot of issues, hormonal issues, insulin. We talked about insulin resistance in class. So there's a lot of issues that can play into being obese that's not just, they eat unhealthy and they don't exercise. Myself personally, I go to the gym 5 days a week. I am a very healthy person. I maybe eat bad 1 day a week, a cheat day, but I'm still overweight, but I'm not a lazy person. I'm not unhealthy, so it just kind of, you need to teach healthy living, but also you need to accept that it's not a choice to be overweight, and some people are doing things, and so just accepting people for no matter what they look like. I think that that's something that public health officials also need to focus on. We can be all-inclusive of every body type. And, there's still a lot of people out there who do fat shame and other kind of stuff like that. And honestly, it's so hurtful and it makes people not want to lose weight because they feel like they can't and they're hopeless. So as public health officials, we need to focus on healthy lifestyles, but also just inclusion and acceptance.